The thing with AI, I actually don't see it as a disruption, I see it as an evolution. So I think the thing with AI, I actually don't see it as a disruption, I see it as an evolution. So one of the things that marketers need to understand, I think, is that AI has been around for a long time. It's embedded in a lot of the products that they're already using today. We shouldn't just necessarily be thinking about disruption. We should be thinking about how we can evolve our marketing practices using some of the tools and techniques that are here today, but at the same time thinking about our strategy so that we're prepared for what might come tomorrow. And I talked about that this morning in terms of things like assistant and also voice search as the next big things for marketers to tackle.
I think what marketers can use AI for, the initial kind of wave of innovation that we've seen is a lot of people trying to use AI to do some specific customer-facing product improvements like chatbots, for instance, like having a computer pretend it's a human. I think the real opportunity is around data analysis. The real opportunity for us as marketers now is just to democratise that further, in that we can have a natural language interface with these kinds of big data platforms that we're all building, so that I as a decision maker don't need to understand query language or data science to be able to ask a conversational question on like what is impacting my business and why, and then being able to get the results sent back to me and then I can act on it. I think that's really a great opportunity for marketers, and it's a solvable problem, and I think it's where you're going to be seeing things heading in the next sort of 12 to 24 months.
So I think for a lot of the marketers, you have to actually have a discipline around when you want to engage with technology, and then you have to have, I think, a little bit of compassion for your family and friends as well around when they don't want to be connected by technology either. So really simple rules in my own household: no phones on the table when we're having meals, right? If I'm having dinner with my kids, they're not using their mobile phones. So also limiting, I think, the use of technology to certain times of the day when you've got certain tasks, and that not being completely dependent on that technology when you go out of the home. And there's a classic piece of research around this as well. You know, if you lose your wallet, you're not as worried about losing your wallet these days as you are your mobile phone. What does that tell us about the dependency that we now have on those devices? So I think cut the switch. Remove the phone from your bedside table. Make sure that you're using those devices only when you need to, and focus again on talking to people. Actually put the phone down and have a real conversation face to face. That'd be my advice.
I think the always connected smartphone aspect that we're having not only in our job and our personal lives, I think it's hugely affecting us psychologically and moods and how it's affecting our daily life. And when you think about it, that's pretty horrific when you're dealing with like an almost addiction. I think most of us can kind of admit to that. There's this, how we're constantly using it for that dopamine rush, and having to self-manage that. If you talk to anyone with an addiction problem, say you had a drug or alcohol addiction problem, saying, well, it's always in your pocket, you just have to choose not to use it, is pretty bad. But I don't think there's going to be any kind of other way to get around it. You have to be conscious of it, and you have to self-manage. You have to set boundaries at work on accessibility. We sort of leaned way too far in just assuming that you're always accessible and contactable, and I think that's having issues with personal life and not being able to switch off